Hello, hello, welcome back once more. So today we've got a GPO2, it's the MLRS. Yeah, MLRS. Also known as the support type GPO2 with the big ol' missile rack. It's got the, can fire them forwards, can fire them up and over, sort of like a mortar sort of shot, and has the head Vulcans and has a nice beam saber. I kind of wish, and then of course the massive shield, as you know, one of the most iconic parts of the whole suit, in my opinion, the absolutely massive shield. I do really like that beam saber too, to be fair. I, what was I thinking? I don't remember what I was thinking. Oh well. Yeah, you can see me lobbing some shots in there. I'm just trying to get, trying to just hoping they hit something, trying to sort of use them more or less as area denial. I'm in a bit of a tricky spot here, as you can see. I just landed those right into the backs of my allies. Not ideal. Tricky spot because I don't really have a good shot angles right here without, like, having people in front of me. But you can see it does really good damage when you actually land things, so I'm trying to find good angles to actually shoot without, like, shooting right into my allies. And unfortunately, I'm kind of sticking out now, which is part of the other tricky thing. It's why I'm back as far as I am in the first place. It's tricky because being back means they're in front of me, which means I'm shooting them in the back, which is not fun. But moving forward means I'm getting shot by the enemy, which is also not fun. It's a bit obnoxious. But yeah, those rockets are so interesting. I really love having those arcing rockets like that, because you can see it's tricky to actually land with them because they spend so much time in the air before they actually hit. But you can do some really interesting stuff with them as a result of that same thing, or more so the arc rather than the speed, I guess. But that arc, having it go all the way in the air like that, means it's going to go over a whole lot of, like, potential issue terrain. They've got decent splash radiuses to them, and if you can get a map that gives you good opportunities, like good angles to fire from, you can fire them. They fire 3 at a time, I believe it is, and you can get into a good angle and then sort of like trace a line with your crosshair, and it'll fire them because of the way. Yeah, 3 at a time. So it'll fire 1, 2, 3. It fires wherever, of course, the crosshair is aiming. So while you're tracing the crosshair along a certain area, it's going to fire them 1, 2, 3 in the line you're tracing. So by doing that, you can cover these wide strips of ground and just bombard enemy positions. And depending on the map, that can be incredibly useful. It, of course, kind of is something you have to do on some of the larger maps because, as you can also see, like, that angle means they come down really weird when it comes to close range. Like, within the range I am right here, which we hit that guy. I didn't mean to. That wasn't great. Moved up to kind of cover him and got, you know, tackled, so that wasn't ideal. But hey, he comes in and actually covers me in return. So that's pretty awesome. I'm glad for that. Unfortunately, as you can see, we're a little bit surrounded, so we're not really gonna fare too well. He rightfully, or correctly, kind of held an attack there, guarded against a shot with my shield, but still got clipped by the downswing and got taken out as a result. Yeah, a little frustrating, but we've got a good lead, so that's something at least. Once you actually get... This suit is really cool. I really love this one. The rockets, or the missiles, I guess. Missiles, both the ones that shoot straight forward and the ones in the air, they hit with such good damage. But you gotta kind of feel for it, get used to sort of leading your shots with them, which isn't as hard as it is with some other things. Like, I have a much harder time leading the shots with, like, a traditional bazooka than I do with these, which I think partially helps that they shoot twice. There's probably just a simple difference in velocity as well that makes that the case. But the result is they're less difficult to get good with, or specifically the ones that shoot forward are less difficult to get good with than some of the other sort of, I guess, meta options, and they do some pretty good damage once you start getting a feel for it. And then, of course, having that big shield, like right there, I just tanked 2 hits right there with the shield. It, you really get some you start to get a feel for good shield positioning using this thing because of just the size of the shield. You can really like have an enemy try to. You'll definitely see it a couple times too, where an enemy's trying to get up on you and chase you down and try and hold you down, and you just angle yourself so that it catches all on the shield, and you can pull back right there again, caught on the shield. As I pull back, you're gonna see probably right here. Kinda. It looks like it got around the shield a little bit. But you will see a certain degree of me angling the shield, like, right there to catch their shots that I can try and absorb that stun and keep moving. Did get around the shield there, though, unfortunately, and the shield's gone now. It took a good bit of damage. It takes a while to take out the shield. Also, like, yeah, how many times I say shield at this point? Dang. But once you do, you know, you stack enough damage on it, it goes down. It might take a while, but it eventually will. I'm not sure if getting stopped there in my downswing was good for me or not, because, to be fair, it did mean that his tackle didn't do anything, but at the end of the day, I didn't manage to get any damage out either, so clearly didn't really do much for me ultimately, did it? But we're now waiting to spawn back in. Rest of the team is doing all right. Looks like our points are fine. We're doing perfectly well with the point advantage. But you can see we just lost a guy. Looks like, yeah, one more guy dropped as well. And I had the worst possible drop position. You can see I am completely isolated. The enemy team is right there. So I'm laying down some fire while trying to pull back. Looks like most of those ended up getting eaten by the wall, which is a little unfortunate. Firing there into the side of the wall there, managed to catch him, but it doesn't really matter because we got the entire enemy team right here. At least we did some damage and held back one of the enemies that was coming down on us, but it's tricky to get back to the team in that situation. Not sure how we managed to get the downswing on that one. That one looked odd, to say the least. But now being back with our team, hopefully we'll be able to do some good at least. I'm trying to get into angles here where I can do something, but without sticking my nose out too far, because I don't have a lot of health as it is. I really can't take a lot of risks. We've got some angles, luckily, but not a whole lot. I'm gonna try and move in on this guy here. Luckily, since our allies, yeah, you can see they're fully surrounding him. We're not doing too much there as a result, but I, again, do not want to stick my nose out too far. I'm doing my best to move with my allies while still getting angles. I got so worried I was going to hit him for a second. I'm really glad I didn't. Kind of wish I was doing more damage so I could at least get assists on some of these instead of just... Like, damage is happening at least, so it's not like I'm doing nothing, but doing enough damage to get some assists would be nice. And we're just gonna go step on that pilot real quick. I am very amused that somehow the big explosion didn't catch the pilot, but I rolled over him. Ah, I wish those rockets were missiles. I keep calling them rockets. I wish those missiles could have landed before the end right there. I just want to know if they hit. It looked like they might have, but no, I'm not really sure. We got top diversion at least. That's something. That means we got shot at a bunch. I'm actually not sure how diversion is calculated. I don't know if it's calculated by being shot at or time spent on enemy screens. I'm not really sure. I just know it means people were looking at me a bunch. Which is something. I would prefer to be getting top damage, of course, especially with this machine, but, you know, it is what it is. It's definitely not when I take it out enough, but, like, that goes for, honestly, a lot of suits. I'm pretty sure I've said that for, like, every suit I've shown off at this point, so at this point it kind of doesn't mean anything for me to say that, does it? But still, I'm going to try and get some interesting ones, interesting matches, hopefully, so we will see what that looks like in the future. But for now, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.